Hello and welcome to the 32nd episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. I'm joined once again by Randy. How you doing today?
Hey, what's good, everybody? How's everyone doing?
I don't know about them, but I'm doing pretty good today. I've been kind of energized by the Pistons this week. A little fight is, I guess, good and bad, but it gets the crowd going for sure. Stewart, that was interesting this week. I don't know how I feel. I'm a Pistons fan, but I also got to look at it from a non-biased state, and I don't know. There's goods and bads from both players there. Um, LeBron, I guess you elbow slash fist. That's not the best, but Stewart breaking more tackles than Barry Sanders was kind of interesting too. Uh, I was
Yeah, I
what?
think we need to try to look at it as objectively as possible. When I saw it happen, my immediate reaction was LeBron just punched him on purpose. LeBron just elbowed him on purpose, and I thought Malice of the Palace round two was about to go down.
Yeah, Mason was the announcer at the in-game announcer, like the one that's on the floor that you can hear in the arena. You don't ever hear him on the broadcast, but he was saying, "Stay in your seats and don't do anything," because I don't. Maybe he was the announcer in. I think it was '04. I think it was actually the year we won the championship.
Yeah, he was there.
But yeah, he was getting flashbacks. You could tell he was not.
So, fun fact: you remember that first guy that got punched and did like a back roll?
Yeah,
That was my sister's boyfriend at the time.
really.
He's the one that got. He's the one that got punched and did a back roll. Yep. His
The
name
one
is
that threw the
Charlie.
beer.
No, he didn't throw the beer. He was the one that like ran up and sized up. I think it was Jermaine O'Neal, and Jermaine O'Neal just punched him right in the head.
That sure was a learning experience. I don't know why you'd want to go to a guy like Jermaine O'Neal. He's like 6'10", 7 foot, 250
Well,
plus.
that guy, we always knew him as a knucklehead. So,
Well, he got a knuckle to the head that day. Yeah,
yep,
that
yep,
was
yep.
that was yeah, but we didn't. It didn't get to that point. I mean, the most action you saw was Stewart running through our own staff to try to get at the Lakers staff. That was I don't it. If this if this podcast had been a few days ago, I might have had a different thing. But more and more I heard Eddie Johnson on NBA radio talk about he was looking at the box out and he was saying that Stewart was almost he was messing with LeBron from the looks of it because he was low on LeBron and LeBron wasn't the low man at the line because DeAndre Jordan was actually the low man closer to the hoop. So if you look at it from a basketball standpoint, he should have had his most of his body on DeAndre Jordan. And secondly, he was that low. So when LeBron brings his arm back, he thinks he's pushing the arm out of the way, but instead it's Stewart's face. And Stewart didn't take to that too kindly. Um, Stewart
Yeah, I
was a
think.
fighter before he was actually a boxer before he really got into basketball. So that's another thing to take into account. Stewart's been in the ring before, so when he gets hit, it might be a little bit of a different reaction than most people.
Just the sheer size of the man in the first place. When you see in the the aftermath, he just seriously, he's not even trying to. He's just running through security guards, and they're just falling over like bowling pins.
Yeah, I saw him when I got 3 cards signed at Detroit City Sports here in Michigan. But he's an absolute mountain of a basketball
Hmm.
player. I mean, there's the mountain that lifts, but for basketball players, he reminds me a lot of Oakley, Charles Oakley's type build. Really, I mean, I think Oak is tougher than Stu is, but same type of player. He would have fit in right in the '80s, early '90s. He's
Yeah, I'm hoping this is a resurgence of the Detroit Bad Boys.
Yeah, I don't know about the fights as much. I could deal with that with less fights because that does cost you games, and then you don't get
Of
to see the
course,
guys. But definitely
I
gonna
want some
play
toughness though.
physical. That's
Yeah,
why Cade was a better pick than Green because of the physicality. Green can't really play defense, and that's why we picked up Cade. Um, I thought the suspension was good. I honestly thought they were gonna give Stu another game on top of the 2. I thought he'd get 3, but two's all right. That one game for the Lakers for LeBron really did cost them last night against the Knicks. Ended up losing that game. Although I think when they came back from 15 on us, the Lakers, I think they did unlock Russell Westbrook because he had a triple double with 30 points last night, and he hasn't done that all season. So maybe that'll be a turning point for the Lakers this year. You don't know. I know
Yeah.
they've got the talent on that roster. Not as deep as many people want to think just because of age. Some of them guys can't play minutes like if you had a younger guy in that position. But yeah, I mean, what have you seen? Because I've kind of been going at it. What did you see when you saw it?
And you're talking about the
The
Isaiah
fight.
Stewart incident or
Yeah.
the fight? Yeah. So here's what I saw. Like I said at first, I thought it was completely intentional. But when you slow it down, LeBron's eye is on where the basketball is the entire time. He jerks his elbow up like he's trying to free himself, right? And it seems to me it was not intentional. Flailing his elbow was intentional, and an result of that was him crushing, Isaiah Stewart's skull. And
Yeah.
so therefore, I think he should have been ejected from the game for that. Not because he threw a punch, but because he was acting carelessly and someone got seriously injured because of it. So I think, um, honestly, I think the NBA has handled this properly, and I
Yeah.
actually think the media, for the most part, has actually handled this properly as
Yeah,
well.
I was surprised it
Um,
wasn't more LeBron. It was actually pretty even. There was a lot of
yeah,
good points. I was expecting it to be a real Stewart bash, but it wasn't as much.
yeah,
And
they
I mean,
seem to
what he
be.
did,
Yeah,
I can't say he should be doing that. So at the same time, it's like, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. Because like, if someone does that to me, even me, I'm pretty calm. I
yeah,
I probably would not react the same way, but I could not make that same statement for the 90% of other athletes that I've ever played with.
yeah,
When you're in that situation, you're the one that's, you got your jersey all over LeBron and you get elbowed in the face or if punched in the face, your first thought is he did that on purpose, right?
yeah,
And so while I do agree with the suspension for Isaiah, I can also agree that I understand why he was so upset.
yeah.
So
And
yeah, I think everything is correct in this.
yeah, people are saying LeBron shouldn't have got suspended, but I think anybody who brings blood with contact in that manner should get one game, no matter who it is. I think just that.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Y-
matter
y-
who it is. Any of them. If it had been flipped, if Stewart had done that, he should have got one game. But, uh, yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of fouls in the obviously in basketball don't even take intent into consideration, right? You
no,
could just be playing way too hard and you're not even meaning to hurt anyone. You do it, you're gonna get called for that. So, yeah, I agree. He smoked him in the head, and did he get suspended? He got suspended for one game, right?
yeah, he was out versus the Knicks last night. The Lakers actually ended up dropping another game. It's lucky for them they picked up the Detroit game, being down 15 like they were, because they'd be in. I think they're
Yeah,
bouncing like a game or two under 500 right now, which is not good if you're in the Western Conference. Now, maybe if they were in the East, it'd be a little different story, but they got to really start figuring themselves out here, or else it's going to get pretty hot in the kitchen there in LA. Uh, I mean, if Russ starts playing like he did against the Knicks with LeBron back, it's going to be better. But if he goes back to what he's going to be playing, you'll see Russell Westbrook shipped out somewhere, possibly Ben Simmons at the
huh.
deadline. That's about because
Oh
Dame's not
jeez.
going anywhere. Maybe a John Wall. I'm just thinking of point guards that could possibly come. The only ones I can see is like Dame and not Dame, Ben Simmons or John Wall are the only ones that are really open at this point.
Yeah,
Kyrie's
there's no
not even a
realist.
possibility because he's not going to go from one area that has high COVID, uh, high restrictions to another area that's got high restrictions. So that's not
Right,
happening. I mean, that's a whole nother bucket of worms I'm not going to get into today, but
right.
that's not happening.
There's no realistic roster move that the Lakers can make that can save the season.
No, and I mean, from Philly's side with Ben Simmons too, there's no good trades for them either. It's just not good. Westbrook would be the only somewhat okay trade, but Although I will say, when Russ gets a good big man, it is fun to watch. So him and Embiid could be interesting, but at the same time, he needs the rim, which is what was Ben Simmons' big problem. So I don't know, but at least Russ can hit a mid range. So that's
Yep.
another thing to think about.
So, but you and I had talked about this at the beginning. Well, I take that back. I thought LA. I think I predicted they'd be number 2 in the West.
Yeah, you had him at
But
2.
but if you remember, I was really down on the Russ pickup. Not that I don't believe in Russ. I do. He's amazing. But boy, is he not a fit for that team, and we're really starting to see that.
It was just not going to be a fit. It just the spacing doesn't work. Russ's play style is too much like LeBron's play style. I mean, they're different sizes and they're different players, but they both want to get to the rim and facilitate. Why do you need two of those guys?
Yep.
Davis also needs to step up and be scoring more often because that's, other than rebounding, that's his main attribute. Defense, he had some good blocks. He blocked Cade twice the other day. That was probably the worst thing I've seen Cade do all season, was try to take it at him twice. But yeah, I did. You got anything else here? Am I good to move on to something else?
Nope, I'm good.
All
I
right.
just think everything was handled properly. Even
Yeah,
the
it
media
was
handled
good.
it properly.
It was good. I was at two Pistons games. I know the podcast people don't know. You knew, but I went to the Nets game on the 5th, and then
Close
I went.
one.
And yeah, that was a close one. So was the Warriors game that I went to on the. Well, it was back to 19th, I think. Yeah, the 19th. I went to the Warriors game, which was one before this Lakers game. I'm not a big Lakers fan, so I was like, why do I need to go to the Lakers game? Now I know why. But when I bought my tickets, that Nets game was pretty good. I will say one thing about the Pistons this year. They have bad quarters. The two games that I went to, it was the third quarter, and it seems like as of late, they figured the third quarter out, but then the fourth, they just die. They just can't get the offense going. Cade's offense, shooting-wise, has been kind of literally hit or miss. I don't know what to say. I like Cade, but he's young. It'll take time, but it is kind of hard to watch at times right now, especially when he gets a wide open three and he breaks it. But he'll get it. I think he's got it figured out. I at least like him on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he had a triple double the other night. Really, if they're playing the way they are, losing the games that they are, I'd like to see him get an offensive guy to go around him, because I like Sadiq, but he's not really trying to get offense. Jeremy takes too long to get into his shot. He has that thing where you see he's going to shoot, almost like LeBron, except he does a couple dribble moves into it, and he rises over the top and shoots it, but I don't know. That's nothing you could do with like 2-3 seconds on the clock. We just need a scorer. I like guys coming out right now. You got Chet Holmgren, Pablo Banchero, Jalen Duren. One of those guys would be nice. I don't know if we'll be in top 5 this year. I don't like the losing, but from what it looks right now, I had predicted them to be 10 and in the play-in game, but that window could be a push late in the season. I don't know, but at this moment, I don't see them making that push.
I'm not losing faith.
I'm not losing as much faith. I'm just trying. What I've seen, they're young yet. They got a lot of things to figure out. The turnovers they have tuned in a little bit. I think it does help that Killian's not playing as much. He's kind of loose with the ball at times.
Yep. That's been killing us, actually.
I like Killian. When he played in the Nets game, I liked his defense though. So if he can get them turnovers done, and he had a double the other day with like 13. No, he had more than 13. He had like 16 and 10 assists. So he's got it there. Could he be a good 6-man? I think that might be our spot for him if he'll take that role, or maybe we move him. I don't know, but
Are you talking about Killian?
yeah, I don't know if I see him. I like Stu too, but I don't. If we get a shot at Chet Holmgren, I like Stu a lot, but we got to go with Chet Holmgren. I don't think we're gonna be top pick again, but if we were there, it would be a thought.
Yeah, and you know what though? As far as drafting goes right now, if you stop it right now, it looks like we hit 3 out of 4. No, 4 out of 5 if you include Garza. Holy cow!
Yeah, Livers just hit 2 threes in the G
Yeah.
League. He's heating up. He's still been injured. We'll have to see what he comes out of.
So this is how you build a team, and I'm still have hope for Killian. He's got it. If he tools up those
He's getting
turnovers, he
better.
could
I
be
can
something
see
special.
improvement. I can see more in him than I ever saw in Sekou for a while there. So
Yeah,
already a better.
but already. Oh, go ahead.
He's a top 10 pick. So he give him a little time. We'll see what happens. He was the number one ranked point guard in that draft. But the problem is we've got the number one pick point guard in this draft. So I don't know if he's better off somewhere else and we find something to fill his spot. I like it when they play Josh Jackson in the starting lineup sometimes. I like that lineup.
He's been pretty good. So Joseph's been playing well as well.
Yeah, he had some bad turnovers in that Warriors game, though, that cost us. So everybody's got their issues. Although Josh Jackson's been in the league a little bit longer, so you kind of wish he didn't do that because he's not as young as the other guys. But, I mean, he wasn't doing much before he hit Detroit. So for him to be producing like he has been in Detroit is good for him. So I guess I can't expect as much.
But again, you got to give the front office some credit because Sadiq's already looking like a sure hit.
Yeah, he's hitting threes
Cade,
like nothing. He hit 3 in the first quarter the other night against the Heat.
well, he's getting to the bucket too, which is great. Cade already looking like a man. Already got triple double. I mean, yeah, I'm really, really excited about this team. Isaiah, the kid's only 19 years old. Think about that. So, I'm happy. I'm very happy, and there's going to be some growing pains, and we're feeling those now. But I'm telling you, the second half of the season, I bet you they can. For the second half of the season, I bet you they can go 500. For the second half, that doesn't mean they're going to pull their record to 500, but I bet you they can go 500 in the second half.
Yeah, all these games have been close that they've been playing, and they played. The Warriors was a shot. The Nets was a one shot. I mean, they both been one shot games to the top teams. They were up on the Lakers. A lot of people, despite their early woes, have them still in the top tiers. They've been playing people hard. Getting back to the defense, which is what I like. I mean, that's what a lot of teams in Michigan build around is a defense. You'll see whatever the NBA team plays like in the state is what the rest of the state tends to play like because that's who they're watching. But Detroit's getting back to that, and I like it a lot. I just I like to see Stu
right.
out
All those
there.
great ISO teams play defense.
Yeah, I like to see Stu back out there. I just hope. I like Draymond Green, but I hope he doesn't have the same issues like this constant issues like a Draymond Green. I like him, and I like Draymond. It's just sometimes it'll cost you, like cost Draymond in 2016. But I could see Stu off the bench, but I don't know if he's our long-term center. But he's going to work for now. He's good for a while. But at least
I didn't realize he was only 6'8", though. So
he's
you know.
6'8".
Yeah, let me check again.
Wow.
Check out
Well, the hair might make him seem taller too, because I don't know how much that extends above his actual head. Because you can't.
Yeah,
tell.
so I was kind of surprised to see that he is 6'9". They have him at 6'9".
What was Ben Wallace? Was it
Ben Wallace was okay. They had him listed at 6'8", but all the players said there's no way he was that tall.
Yeah, I know. Stu's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking Jeremy I like for right now, but if he gets traded at the deadline, it wouldn't even surprise me a bit. If we can move Jeremy for Lou Dort down in the Thunder, I wouldn't. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I've always looked at Lou Dort in the last few years, and I like Lou Dort a lot. It would have to be more than that. And the Thunder aren't gonna. We'd have to give up a pick to get him, and that's not happening. But that's just a pipe dream for me. I like guys like Lou Dort, just dogs on defense. I mean, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't trade Jeremy for Ben Simmons. I keep seeing it, but I would not be surprised if it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about this team, and I think they might make a push. I had him 8th place in the East. That's not happening. But maybe, just maybe, they make a play-in game.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
holding
see
out
what
hope for that.
happens. I hope so. We'll see what happens. Let's flip
Yep.
it. Let's flip it up to the Warriors. I got to watch them, and even though Steph and Draymond weren't out there and Iguodala, I mean, Poole had 33, and Wiggins had like 24. So I mean, they still had a duo out there, even when the main like four of the guys that were on the championship team were sitting that night. It's like, man, like we couldn't even touch Poole that night. He was hitting logo threes and just everywhere. He's hitting. He did like a jelly layup in traffic on us too. It was pretty bad. They were moving the ball. I mean, it doesn't matter if Steph's out there or what. Somebody's gonna fill it. Poole was filling Steph's role that night, and they were just moving the ball, trying to get people open, playing good defense. Cade had a quiet night because Gary Payton Jr. was on him, and Gary Payton Jr. is a dog. I think it's a second. They didn't call him Junior, but yeah, but he was a dog. I like Gary Payton Jr. a lot too. He's locked down. They call Davion Mitchell off night, but I think you could give that name to Gary Payton the second. I mean, we
That
got it.
team, it's not fair that they can have so much veteran leadership, but at the same time have so much great young talent.
They
That's
know how to
ridiculous.
draft. They have for years.
And that's how you build winning franchises. This day of headhunting superstars in the offseason, I'm so glad to see teams doing it the right way
Yeah,
and winning
I,
because of it.
I'm curious to see how Wiseman plays when you got full strength offense to find out if he's really going to be a fit or not. Because that's the only question mark, really. Because you know when Clay comes back, he's going to know how to do it. But with Wiseman, he never had that college experience because the NCAA is stupid with the whole money thing with Penny Hardaway. I don't know all the intangibles into that, but he didn't get that chance in college to learn there. Um, and so he's pretty raw yet. Draymond's been teaching him quite a bit, and I don't know what he's been learning. He's probably been sitting watching how they play a lot, uh, getting taught by the coaches while he's been injured, and we'll see what he does when he comes back because I mean the Warriors need a big man, but he's sitting there on the bench getting healthy, so they're already set up. They don't even have to. Like the Lakers are probably gonna have to trade for somebody, but the Warriors, as good as they are now, still have the pieces there that they can just be ready to go with. Uh,
Yeah, this is it's been a lot of fun to watch them too because I've been paying attention to them because you have them winning the West. Did you have them winning the NBA championship?
I do.
Okay. So yeah, I remember
I'll live
I
and
said
die by that. I don't care if it's wrong.
it's you're looking great now, but I remember when you made that pick, I was like, man, the goal of this guy, having no idea what's gonna happen with Clay. Uh, we were all excited that the guy Kaminga, we didn't even think about
Yeah,
some of these other guys that are there. So they're exciting,
yeah,
and there's a future there.
yeah. When I was there at the Pistons game because so many people were out, I actually got to see Moody play, and he's pretty good too. But he's getting no minutes because they have so much depth at point guard. I hope they do send him down to the Santa Cruz Warriors to play a little bit so he doesn't just get left out to dry. But I mean, you saw what Poole did and Poole learned, and look at him now. He's a dog. I mean, Poole could be starting on another team. I mean, he is on the Warriors, but when Clay comes back, it's going to be kind of, do we start Poole? Do we start Clay? What is it going to be? Are we going to run small ball? What's going to happen? Probably depend on matchups, but I mean, Poole off the bench is. I mean, they talk about Tyler Hero being hot right now off the bench, but Poole's going to be just as bad off the bench. That's going to be. I mean, I think
A good team.
this is the deepest they've ever been. I can say that 100% because you've got back in the day they had Barbosa, Zealy, David Lee, David West. I think West came when Durant came, so I don't kind of got to leave him out. I'm looking at my, they had like Brandon Rush, but I mean,
Did you
they
say Iggy?
yeah. Well, I think Iggy was starting a lot back then. I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
like
he
the
was still
bench.
at the end of his prime.
You
Yeah.
had Rush. Who else did you have? You had like McAdoo, who isn't even in the league right now. Rush is bounced out of the league now, but a lot of them guys were decent for them, but weren't. weren't that great. And if you look down the Warriors roster, even the rookie Kuminga fits. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine. They have. I can already say it. Even if they crash and burn from this point, which I don't think is going to happen, this team is better off than the 15-16 team was.
Ooh.
And then the starting lineup, you have an
Are you talking
upgraded
KD
small
team?
forward. You have a. What did you say?
Wait. So you're talking the Kevin Durant Warriors?
No, I'm
You're
talking.
saying this team?
No, I'm talking pre-Kevin Durant.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The strength
Okay. Yeah,
and
I would agree with
numbers
you on that.
Warriors.
And
They
we're
have
taking into account that Clay's coming back, right?
well, yeah, Clay's coming back. You also have an
Okay.
upgrade from back then. They had Harrison Barnes, and Wiggins is double what Harrison Barnes is. Barnes will give you points, but he was okay on a defensive end. But Wiggins can do it all. And
Yeah.
I mean,
What an evolution he's gone through too. Remember, I just got done telling you about 6 months ago. I was like, I don't know, man. I think I'm giving up on him. And I thought the Warriors were fools for taking on his contract. Now I look like the fool.
yeah, I mean, what would they have done with D'Angelo Russell though? Because I mean, they traded D'Lo, and they basically took the Timberwolves to the cleaners. I hate for Timberwolves fans. I don't even know if any of them listen, but I mean, they got Wiggins for D'Angelo, which is a nice trade. But also on top of that, they got Kuminga with the other pick that Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves had to be in top 4 to save the pick, or even top 3 maybe. And
This is called getting fleeced.
they took it,
And
they did
the
it
great
to
teams have
themselves.
great GMs.
They did
Yeah.
it to themselves. I mean, they wanted D'Lo. D'Lo was friends with Cat, and I mean, I don't know. I know they wanted Booker up there too, because D'Lo, Booker, and Cat are all friends, but I don't see that happening. But it'll work out for both teams, and open the door for Edwards to be in there. It's a little different. I think the Timberwolves would have been better with Wiggins, Edwards, and Towns, but that's a what if. But I mean, we'll see what the Timberwolves do. They haven't done anything since KG left, so I got to see a little more out of them.
So, speaking of getting fleeced, and this is a little bit of a rabbit trail.
Oh boy.
Talking about great GMs, and I hate to steer this back towards the Pistons again, but I remember a certain YouTuber complaining that we traded Doomsday for 4 second-round picks. I believe it was 4 second-round picks,
Yeah.
and out of those second-round picks, we got Garza, and we also got Livers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's called getting
Sekou.
fleeced.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
traded Sekou Doumbouya, who then got waived by the Nets after one game, went to the Rockets, got waived by the Rockets. Did he go to the Rockets? He went somewhere else.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he went to
No,
the
you're right.
Rockets. He got
Yeah.
traded from the Rockets for somebody. There was like a minor trade there for like one piece. And then he got traded to the Lakers. Or no, he got waived by the Rockets. They picked him up on the Lakers playing one game. He had some sort of little injury that they didn't want to deal with, and now he might as well go back to France. So we got our pick back that we had to give away to get rid of Bruce Brown's contract, which I think has been. I like Bruce Brown. That was one of the iffier trades for me that he's made, but it's worked out. But we got that pick back, and we got others. So Weaver knows what he's doing. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yep.
not the Joe Dumars Pistons we've had in the past. So we're good to go here.
Joe got us the championship. I have to remind people that it might have been an accident. He might have backed into it, but he still got us one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's. I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. We'll see what happens, but we'll find. We'll see. We talked about the Warriors. So I think. Is there any teams that you've been just seeing lately that you think are that surprised you?
Chicago. I remember I had Chicago at like a 6 or 7
I
seed.
think I got them at 7.
Yeah, they have been playing absolute lights out, and it has been a joy.
Yeah, DeRozan is playing at MVP level. Now, he won't get MVP, but he looks close to what he did in Toronto. If not, I think he's honestly better just because of the way they're running everything. Him and Levine, I think, are averaging over 50 points a game combined. Lonzo's good. I think one of their better pickups, though, is off the bench with Caruso. Caruso plays really well with them. I heard that the Lakers were pretty much giving him the vet men, and he went to the Bulls and got 2 years, 15 million.
Hmm.
I think the Lakers are regretting that one right now, but uh,
Yeah, Lakers always are. Well, you and I have always talked about Lakers management, about
they do all right.
overpaying
They got to
the
win
older
now, win
stars.
now, win now, and we'll see what
Yep.
happens. But Caruso's
Yep.
going to be good for the Bulls in the long run. He's a good defensive guy.
Their
Um,
defense has been good too. That's something I did not
yeah.
expect at all. Their defense has been great, actually.
They've even won when Vooch got the virus. Yeah, even when he was out for like 10 days, they should have still winning. Um,
Yeah, their opposing points per game average right now is hovering right at like 102, I believe, which is great. That's really good.
that's their opposing. How many points the other team gets?
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yep.
They just got
So
to make sure they can get at least 100. I mean, I guess I've been watching too many Pistons games. They can't hit 100, but
yeah, they're averaging 108 points
okay.
per game. We knew they would score. So
Yeah. I'm not one that surprised me is a specific to a player in a new system with a new coach. Is Porzingis is back to Knicks Porzingis with Jason Kidd at the helm. He's putting up more points than Luka has been lately. So maybe it really was Rick Carlisle's fault that Porzingis wasn't playing as well. He was complaining about the touches, and maybe he wasn't wrong.
right.
Because right now Dallas looks pretty good. I wouldn't say they're nowhere near the Warriors level right now, but when Luka gets to the playoffs, it is quite interesting. If he has another piece with him, who knows what he can do? Because eventually Luka's gonna break through, and I think he's gonna get a couple at least in his career, if not more. He's too good to never win a championship. It's not happening. But I think
Oh, he will.
we've got a few years before he breaks through. But when he does, he's gonna be there fairly often. I think.
I mean, they're 10-7 now, and you and I have talked about this in the past, where Luka is the type of player, well, he will drag a team to a championship, much like LeBron did.
I was thinking Larry Bird more myself, but
Yeah, that's not fair. He had Kyrie, and Kyrie was amazing. He
yeah.
did much like we're like
Well,
right.
Bird had McHale, and that was the bigger guy, and Paris was more defensive guy. So that's where I mean, really, you're trying not to because it's both white guys you're comparing, but it's so similar. It's hard not to. But
He will drag that team to a championship,
I
and it
mean,
does help that Porzingis is starting to play better again.
and Luka plays like Bird. Some of the shots he hits is just like, how did he hit that? That's the way Bird used to do the fakes, and it's too easy of a comparison to make there. Uh, if he's already getting those comparisons, I like Luka a lot too. I expect Dallas to. As much as Dirk tried, he got one ring. I expect to see Luka get at least two there in Dallas before he's done, or wherever he goes. The way the NBA is now, who knows if he's going to stay in Dallas or not? But I expect him to have at least two on his finger. And that's just looking right now. Who knows if he's got another level in him? Jordan, before he played the Bad Boys, was good, but once he got beat down by the Bad Boys, he took it to another level. So there could be that changing point. Luka's going to be good long term. But this season, who knows what'll happen, especially with Porzingis. Because Porzingis would drag the Knicks into the playoffs back in the day, once, I think. But he was hurt too often. But that's because he's carrying a heavy load there. He's got less of a load here in Dallas. Uh, West is
Yep.
going to be hard this year because Portland's heating up now too. They've won three in a row, 3 or 4 in a row with Dame
Yeah.
Player of the Week.
Seems like Dame's starting to get happy again
He
in
was shooting
Portland too.
bad. He figured himself out because the problem was that Dame was actually having off nights, and it wasn't actually the team as much. You also got Norman Powell, who they traded Gary Trent Jr. away for. He's been hurt, so you got another piece out there. I like Chauncey. That's the coach up there. He knows defense. If they can play better defense in Portland, it's going to be a little interesting because they've always been able to put up the points, but they've never been known for really good defense. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a really interesting NBA season. It's not going at all the way, especially in the West, it's not going at all the way I thought it would. But that makes it more fun. The college football season's been kind of crazy too, in
Yeah.
that sense. So
Well,
it's
Alabama's on the edge there.
yeah, they're
Alabama's
gonna.
at 4 right now. If Michigan beats Ohio State this week, it's going to be a little interesting. I don't know if they will or not because if Michigan loses to Ohio State, they're falling off of the top six. But
Right.
if they can pull it
Well,
off,
Ohio
it's going
State's
to be
going to claw their
interesting.
way in. Well, let's be real.
Well,
They're
Ohio
gonna.
State will drop down to 3, and Michigan will move up to 4 if that's the case, and then Alabama will be at 5 looking in. So we'll see what
Right.
happens there. That I mean,
And I
that's
do
if
expect Ohio State to make it in, and I'm not sure about Bama. Certainly not Cincinnati. Cincinnati, unless teams lose games they shouldn't. Cincinnati's on the outside looking in, and honestly, I don't think they deserve to be in.
I thought since he was in this week, the one I saw, I thought they were in at 3 and Alabama was at 4.
Yeah, but Bama's got an SEC championship game coming up. If they win that, there's no way.
Who they playing?
Uh,
Who do they play?
well, let's check it out. SEC standings.
They don't play Georgia, do they? Because that'll be a dog. That'll be a pounding route game.
They're in this. I believe they're both in the SEC West. No, they're not. So okay,
There's 2 parts of the SEC.
if Bama, if Georgia, if somehow this won't happen because Georgia is going to beat Alabama. If though Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, I still would put Georgia above Cincinnati in the standings, right? Especially
Wait,
the way
so you're
Georgia's been
thinking
playing.
Georgia's gonna lose to Alabama?
No. I'm saying if,
Oh,
if.
okay. Because
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. I think Alabama's good, but I
No.
don't think they're as good as Georgia. I think their defense is gonna really push them.
Let me look at the rankings here, and So right now they have Cincy in. This is the FBS rankings, right, and not the coaches poll, right? So Cincy's at 4. Ooh, dang, they might make it actually.
Since he's looking like they're in there. Hey, I mean, a lot of people question it, but they're looking like they're in there this year.
They're gonna get demolished by whomever they play. They're gonna be like Michigan State in 2016.
Well, they'll be able to do like the one that knocked off Villanova one year. They'll put up a thing that says we made it into the college football playoffs. They'll put up a big banner. That's what they'll do. Is it the AP poll? Is that the one that counts?
So the AP poll goes into the calculations of the FBS poll, which is the bowl rankings poll.
So,
And that actually uses math, strength of schedule, and rankings. All those things come into account.
So, okay, all right, I see.
Yeah,
it
so
now.
it's a little bit more fair,
Okay.
but so that's why Cincinnati's down below teams that are like one less teams, because their strength of schedule hasn't been anywhere near as strong as Bama,
They're
Ohio
American,
State, Georgia.
right? American Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe they're leaving. I believe they're heading into.
Well, they need to be competitive. They should go in like the Big Ten or something if they let them in.
No, they're going to Texas old conference. I can't even think of their.
Pac-12,
Nope. Big 12. Sorry.
Big 12. Okay. Oh, that'll be yeah.
Yeah.
Then they could make a push at it there. Definitely if they don't do it here,
Yeah,
and they'll be
because
more used. And we'll get to see if they can really handle the fire through the whole season.
Texas and Oklahoma are leaving, and I think that's a huge mistake for them because they're going to get their
But Texas has been
faces.
getting torched all year, haven't they?
Yeah, and they think they're going to walk in the SEC
Wow.
and pull off more than 3 wins this season. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
That's how my college, Oakland University's been with basketball. They made the tournament in another league, and then they went to the Horizon League, and they haven't been able to make the tournament once since. So you gotta see what you wish. Oregon went down to 11. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So it's been a
that's
season.
crazy.
Yes, sir.
When did Oklahoma State get good? I mean, I've been looking at it, but some
So it looks
interesting
like
teams this year.
Yep.
Surprised.
Ohio State should beat Michigan. I think they're beating Michigan by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Georgia's not losing another game.
Well, I'm
Bama's
not-
going to lose their.
I'm not trying to
Go ahead.
mess with you, but I do think Michigan will score more points than State did on them. I hate to say
Well,
it,
it's
but,
not that hard.
But yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. It'll be closer for sure.
yeah,
I mean, that's not a bold prediction, but it will be.
yeah.
I-
Is that
I
the
don't know
Big Ten
what-
championship game, or is this a separate game?
No, the Big Ten championship will be between probably Iowa and Ohio State. So it'll be the Big Ten East champions, which will be Ohio State, I'm assuming, and the Big Ten West champions, which will be Iowa.
Where's Iowa even ranked? They're out of the top 25 now.
Yep.
Wisconsin's not in the Big Ten?
Uh, yeah, but they've lost a few games. I
Yeah,
was
but they're
actually
ranked
held out at
14.
16.
They're ranked 2 above Iowa, though.
What's their schedule record though?
8-3, won 7 in a row. Iowa's 9-2, but won 3 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I
we'll
think
see. I mean, I can't root for Wisconsin or
so.
Ohio
Iowa
State, but
Iowa did beat Wisconsin. So
so they get upper hand.
so
All
it's
right, I see
tiebreak.
that. Yeah, and they got the better record. All right, that makes sense.
Yep. So your conference record comes into play that, and I think they're
Ah,
even. But yeah. So anyhow, fun stuff, fun season in
yeah,
basketball and in college football. I have to admit, the Lions being terrible has taken me out of the NFL.
yeah. I've been watching a little bit. I try
Oh,
not to watch the Lions, but it would be awfully funny if they were able to take down the Bears here on Thanksgiving Day. I would say that. That would make me laugh because the Bears have been either they've had like one or two good games, and even one of the ones they won were kind of iffy games. But they got Andy Dalton out there. I mean, if our defense can't feast on anybody, they should be able to feast on Andy Dalton. But that Bears line is okay. But even Fields with a running quarterback wasn't having that much time. Uh, I would like to see the Lions win on Thanksgiving this year. Just I mean, we're not playing Rodgers this year because half the time we play Rodgers on Thanksgiving Day, and that's always a beatdown. But
yeah,
the Bears don't look
should be
good
fun.
either. The Bears don't look good either. So
Well,
Lions have played a lot of close games for not winning them. I mean, they're not that good, but they've played a lot of close games.
their
They've lost by
offensive line
3 points. I think at least 3 times this year. They've lost on field goals and just crazy losses. We'll see what is it in Chicago? No, it's at Ford Field too. It
yep,
says
the
rain
Thanksgiving game is
showers, but
usually home.
we're in a closed stadium.
Yes, sir.
I don't blame the odds being on Chicago though. So Dallas and the
But Detroit,
Raiders. You go ahead.
good.
No, I was gonna flip, but you got something.
Yeah, Detroit does have. It's funny. They've all been close games. The problem is they actually have a decent run game and offensive line, right? But when
Yeah.
the game comes down to the wire, you can't rely just on DeAndre Swift and that offensive line
Yeah,
to win a game for
I
you.
definitely
You
don't
need a
trust
quarterback.
Goff. I don't trust Goff a minute. I know
He
why
can't.
I don't know how the Rams made it to the Super Bowl with Goff. I give him more props now than I did seeing him play.
Yeah. Yep. So they'll
Who did
be
he?
Lions.
He had Gurley that year. That's what it was. He was like Tannehill, except Tannehill's a better quarterback than Goff is. But uh,
Oh gosh, he's awful.
yeah,
So
yeah. Let's hope that Swift goes off for 500 yards. How about that?
here's
Let's hope
to
he has his
here's to
Jonathan
praying.
Taylor performance like he did
Yeah.
this week. We can talk about it. Taylor had 5 touchdowns. He looks like a monster. He could push. Them Colts are heating up. I'm surprised. They got Carson Wentz has just got to watch to make sure he doesn't hurt himself. But the Colts are really starting to heat up, and with the Titans losing Derrick Henry, they might have that division. Um, I had the Titans making a Super Bowl run, but that's definitely not happening with Henry being out. I thought, and
Well, the
Julio
hot
Jones hasn't been a factor either. So
yeah, the hot rumor has been that Adrian Peterson. Remember, we joked about him last time on the podcast.
yeah,
Is actually working out.
he does all
Uh,
right. They're not as heavy on the run game because they can't be, but he's doing what he has to do.
yep.
I
Yes,
like
sir.
I like Peterson. He gave us some good minutes there in Detroit last year. He was enjoyable to watch. Probably taught Swift some stuff, so it was worth having him here.
Yep. Good stuff. I'm really excited about. Well, next year. That's how it always is when you're a
Well,
Lions
it's
fan.
definitely not a quarterback draft. I'll tell you that much. From what I've seen, there's a couple guys that I'd be like, maybe if I could get them in the second round, I'd give them a go, but no first round quarterbacks. Not in my opinion. I wouldn't waste a first round pick. A first round pick that Detroit's going to have, which is probably going to be should be top 3 with his, well, isn't the NFL, they don't worry about the tanking aspect. They just give you like a slot pretty much based on your record.
Yeah, because it's not the draft isn't as top heavy in the NFL
Well, there's
as
so
it
many
is in the city.
positions to fill. With basketball, if you get 1 out of 5, you got a chance.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unusual to see third round draft picks to start in their first season. Not at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So, yeah.
But they got to take that guy out of Oregon. I think it is Trudeau
It's interesting. I also remember you and I speaking about Spencer Rattler being a surefire lock at number one
I
at
thought
the
he was
QB
gonna be
position.
good, and he is awful. I mean, he makes Johnny Manziel look good. I'm talking like
Yeah, not,
NFL Johnny Manziel, not college. College Johnny Manziel was good, but I
yep,
mean, you
couldn't
gotta
get his head
watch
on
some
straight though.
college QBs sometimes though, because if you take one on a hunch, sometimes you can get burned.
Joey
Uh,
Harrington.
yeah.
You remember him?
No, not really, but I just assume Lions QB, and it's usually
You're
not that
absolutely
good,
right.
except for Stafford, and there was one back in the day. I can't think of his name, but we had a couple, but not we're not good.
Yeah, pre Stafford, the best QB we drafted that I knew of in our lifetime was drafted out of Eastern Michigan. His name was Charlie Batch.
Yeah, I've heard of Batch.
Yeah, he played a little bit in Pittsburgh. Actually, did a pretty decent job too.
Then we have the guy that talks on ESPN now. I'm trying to think.
Is he?
Was it? I'm trying to think. He's a quarterback. He's like a backup, but of course we use backups as starters in Detroit.
Yeah, he was our third string one year when we had Scott Mitchell, and then two guys went down. Charlie Batch went in,
I'm trying to
became
think.
our starter.
Like an
Yep.
ESPN reporters. Here, I just put
Yeah,
personality.
he works for CBS. No.
Well, I'm thinking of a different guy. I'm trying to think of this guy. He goes on the Pat McAfee show a lot. Who is it? Man, if I saw his face, I'd know him. But he was a quarterback. Let me see. I've seen him before. They aren't giving me what I want, but oh man, I should know him, but it's all right. We haven't had that many good quarterbacks. It's just is what it is. There's a few other matchups on Sunday that should be better to watch. Bills and Saints. That should be. Well, no, Jameis is out. The Bills should be looking to bounce back there. If you want to see a beatdown, you probably want to watch that game. Well, maybe the Lions one will be too, but the Bills they've been on a streak, losing streak here, so they're going to want to get back in the win column. That's going to be a good one. Cowboys. I mean, there's a lot of Cowboys fans that are like Lakers fans. They're everywhere, which is fine, but there's gonna be a lot of people watching that Cowboys game. Should be a pretty good one for the Cowboys. They gotta kind of get back on track. They're 7-3, but they've had some real letdowns. There's a stinker on Sunday: Falcons, Jags, Texans, Jets. Jeez, Titans, Patriots. If Derrick Henry was there, that'd be one to watch. But the Pats should be able to really push it there. Mac Jones is a dog. Have you seen any of his highlights?
I've not. No.
He is killing it. He looks like Tom Brady did 3 seasons in. Like he's just ready to go. Like you could already argue he's a top 10 QB in the NFL right now. In that system with Bill Belichick, the way he's playing, he's not throwing interceptions. He's dotting people up. He's throwing. They got him the tight ends. He's throwing the tight ends. He's throwing the receivers. Not really too many deep shots, but he's good with what they need him to do. They're number one in their division now again. So the Pats are. That was a quick rebuild. I'll tell you that. I mean,
Funny that QBs have been really funny this year because Cam Newton went back to Carolina, obviously, and he's
yeah,
playing well again.
they didn't win, but he did all right. They're kind of stuck with what they got right now. The Panthers' defense is killing it, but their offense can't catch a break or just couldn't throw a ball to save their life. So they thought Sam Darnold was going to work, and then he pops off for like 300-400 yards that one game, and then that'll probably be his highlight, his like cap of his career, and then he just probably won't have to play again after this. Maybe he can be a decent backup for the rest of his career, but other than that, just not very good. Ooh, we got a good game this week on CBS. Bengals and Steelers is going to be a bloodbath if everybody's
Ooh,
healthy. I
fun.
know the Steelers are really dealing with some COVID issues. I know who's the big guy they got. Well, if you know the Steelers, you know their defense is a dog. There's a few of them that are out. The Bengals are trying to push at that division, especially now the since he's actually favored, which makes sense with the Steelers being the way they have been. Although the Steelers did play the Chargers pretty well on Monday night. The Steelers again played Monday night, short week. Bengals rested up. They had that bounce back game. I don't remember who it was against last week. But Joey B and Jamar Chase have been a really deadly duo this year. They should be good for a while. They do need the O-line's been decent for Joey B, not getting smashed as much, but they're going to need to work on that. Steelers-wise, Big Ben has played decent, although their O-line's kind of iffy, not the best either. So both these defenses play well, so I'm going to think there's going to be a lot of pressure. We're going to see which quarterback can handle the fire that way-wise. We'll see.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Ben Roethlisberger, the ageless wonder, is still playing consistent football.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the deep ball anymore, but he can still give you some decent passes.
He's super boring, but he still gets the job done.
They got Najee Harris this year, too, so it's a little more run. I mean, they were throwing, I think, 70, 80 passes last year a game. That's not going to work out. So with them getting Najee, it's been a little more balanced, and they've been playing decent. This division is cutthroat this year, though. But if the Bengals can keep pushing, Lamar Jackson's got some issues that we don't know about. He hasn't been playing. If they can keep pushing up, they could get that division and make it to the playoffs for the first time in a while. Another game at the same time, you're going to have to figure out which one you want to watch if you're watching football on Sunday. On Fox at 1 is Buccaneers and Colts. And like I said, them Colts are heating up with Jonathan Taylor. But the Buccaneers got 4 they can put on the front that can slow down the running back. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers in that one because if they slow down the running back, the Colts don't really have a hard, especially with T.Y. Hilton out right now, they don't have a hard wide receiver game there to go to. They got Michael Pittman, but they kind of work off the run game. But if Taylor can manage to push through the Buccaneers defense, he's a real deal. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I think it's actually give me the Bucks, and actually I think they win that one. Give me the Bucks, and give me 6. I think they win that one by 6. Yep. Or 5.
If they slow down Jonathan Taylor, it's 14. Because the Colts don't have as much in the like I said with the wide receivers. If they can't get it going on the ground, they're going to have a lot of struggles.
He already broke
the Buccaneers
1,000 yards.
Play. Yeah, he picked up on Henry had a 3-game lead on him with rushing yards, and he's picked it up within like it has been about the same weeks, so maybe he's just been consistent. I mean, you can't all be Derrick Henry, but you got to have other guys that are playing well too.
Right. Yep.
Vikings and the Niners, 5-5. What were you gonna say?
Brady's gonna Brady.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have an amazing game.
Yeah, he doesn't get touched, so he could play another 6-7 years. You don't know. You got that heat down there keeping him alive. Isn't that what they used to say? All the older people go down to Florida to keep themselves going.
Well, I know a lot of older people do live in the Tampa Bay area. It's really nice there. So yeah.
The Vikes and the 49ers, 5-5. Both are pushing, trying to get higher in their division. That's kind of a toss-up game, but might be fun to watch because they're both about evenly matched. Rams and Packers. Now that's a dogfight. Rams have kind of been sliding, but if Stafford's hot and they get Cooper Kupp and a couple guys, I'm trying to think who else. They got Cooper Kupp and hate that I don't know the other receiver's name, but they got some pretty good receivers there. They got OBJ now. That's not exactly good or bad, but Packers. If Rodgers can get Rodgers has got Rodgers has got an issue with his foot right now, which has been kind of not helping him as much. But they did manage to take care of the Seahawks pretty good a couple weeks ago. So Maybe it was last week, but they if he can figure that out, they'll be good to go. Just get him some icy hot, he'll be good to go. But he's gonna be moving a lot though with Aaron Donald and Von Miller coming at him all game though. Green Bay's favored, but I mean, I like Stafford anyway, so I think the Rams got a good chance there.
Vaughn has actually not been playing well since he suited up as a Ram, but
This could
you
be
know,
his breakout game right here with Rodgers being hurt. And
well, yeah,
Bakhtiari's not back yet, so that left side's gonna be a little weak.
yep. So, but again, he a brand new system, barely had time to look at the playbook. So,
I'd rather have a Von Miller not knowing the playbook than a lot of guys. So we'll see what happens there.
yep.
Last game, Monday night game, Seahawks Washington is not very good, but Browns and Ravens depends on if Lamar plays. I don't know if he's scheduled to play, but Browns have kind of been hit or miss. Almost lost to the line. The fact that they only beat the Lions by 3 points, I've lost my faith in them. I had them winning the division, but not like that. They're not. Not if you only beat the Lions by 3 points. If you can't manage to get 2 touchdowns, get out of here. That
Well,
ain't.
the Lions have, for whatever reason, kept every game close. So,
I know they
so
have. I mean, the Ravens are 7-3, and they only lost it by the all-time record field goal to the Ravens. I mean,
yep.
I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know. The weird thing about this year, though, is even when the backup quarterbacks have been coming in, Mike White is a perfect example of that for the Jets. They've been playing well in the system, which is kind of odd. That's not usually the case. Um, but it's been an interesting. I don't know what it is with sports. I don't know if the quarantine that changed people, but it seems to be just like every. I don't know if I notice it different now since I get to watch it since it was canceled, but just seems like everything's a surprise some weeks. Like there's a lot of upsets and just you don't know what's gonna happen. And all sports. I mean,
Yeah, it's
baseball, the
been
Braves came back from being below 500 at the All Star break to win the World Series. So
yeah, yeah,
it's
it's been an insane season. It's been fun. That's fun though.
yeah, it's fun. I like seeing
But
teams that don't win. I would like to see Detroit be one of those, but it's gonna take a while. But
oh, by the way, it happened in NASCAR as well. Kyle Larson coming back from his iRacing suspension
oh
and
yeah,
winning
I
a
heard about
championship.
yeah.
So, yep,
How many races do they
crazy
have to
season.
play before they make it to the championship? Isn't it like 14 or something?
You mean for their playoff system?
Yeah. How many is?
Uh, yeah, it's like a whole third of the season.
Wow. That's a
Yeah, it's too
grind.
many.
That's a
It's too
grind.
many. Yep.
Yeah. You got anything or? I
That's
mean,
it for me. It's been a fun season. Let's. I'm kind of pulling for the Bulls now. So let's see
we'll
how
see
they
what
do.
happens. I mean, it's hard to pull for anybody this early because they. I remember the Pacers the one year when they had Danny Granger and then traded him at trade deadline. They were like 40-12 at mid-season, and then they absolutely fell apart. Roy Hibbert forgot how to play, and uh,
Man, he went from the next best thing that season to this guy's gonna be out of the league soon in a matter of a couple of
and
months.
he still
Remember
got
that?
a 2-year, $25 million from the Lakers. That's the funny part.
That's one of the craziest fall offs that I've ever seen in anybody's NBA career.
Yeah, there was no reason for it either. It was just out of the blue.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
Been
uh,
fun.
it's been a fun one. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank everybody. Thank you everybody for listening, and you on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like button, and on the podcast platforms. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.